Hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking at doing a couple things with our parapet. So we've started to model this roof already that you can see here. And you can see over on the side here we have a bit of a wall sticking up as well as a fascia board. So that's what we're going to go ahead and model. So if we go up to our wall types here, you're going to see that I've created a wall type I'm calling our numbering convention, I'm calling it Parapet. And so essentially it's a 2x6 wall. We have a 1/2 inch plywood and 1.5 inch strapping. So it's basically a 2x4 kind of flat. And this is just to give a bit of airflow if we want around that vertical piece of our fascia board. So to start off, we're going to start placing this wall. So kind of my little shortcut here is we're going to use the pick line button here. And we're going to pick these walls here, and I'm just going to place them based on the last place I was drawing. I'm going to grab all three of these walls and we're going to change it down to my top of plate I have. So I have this first floor top of plate 2, and then I'm going to make the top constraint my first floor top of plate 2, and I'm going to do a top offset of 2 feet. So now we got a bit of a parapet here. So the next thing I like to do is fascia, and we're going to go up here and click fascia. We've modeled this 24-inch fascia board that we have. I can potentially do another video showing you how to do that, but if you go down here into profiles, let's go down to our profiles here. So if you go down to profiles, you can either take your flat fascia and just right-click, type properties, duplicate it to be a 24-inch. In my case, I have boards modeled, so we're just going to change this height to 2 feet. So in my case, I have boards modeled, but that's how you would essentially start by creating that fascia of that size. So we have our fascia. We're going to click our roof fascia. And what I recommend for flat roofs is always doing the fascia by the bottom portion of the roof. And the reason why is if we go to slope that roof fascia later, or sorry, slope our roof later, we don't want it to adjust the location of our fascia board. So I'm going to do that. In this project, we're doing wood fascia. If we did this flat fascia, it'd probably be some sort of ACM aluminum panel type, I guess. So now that we have this, we can change it to our flat 1x4 board one that we have here. And I'm going to change the vertical offset. So this is 24 inches. We have 3/4 inch ceiling. So I want to maybe move this up, let's just say 23 inches. So maybe a 1/4 inch overhang down. And that looks like there's a bit of an overhang there, so that's good. And then the second piece comes with our parapet. So I've actually modeled this parapet type, and I can open this here just to show you. So we've modeled a parapet profile. And this is parametric, so let me just do this here. I'm going to select all instances visible in view, and then I'm just going to bring these sunglasses down and just show isolate element. So this is kind of what our parapet looks like. It's parametric, so we can adjust some of the variables, but essentially this is what we have. We have a profile. So the cool thing about this parapet is once you want to start modeling it, there's a few different ways to do it, but I think the best here is we're going to actually go up to model in place, and we're going to pick roof. Click OK. Roofs, OK. And we're going to go to sweep, and we're going to pick our path, and we want our path to be our exterior wall edge that we created. And make sure we don't want to do the parapet or anything like that. So I'm just going to click these like so. And then we just have to use the trim and extend button here to clean up our corners. Clicking the out or the inside pieces of those corners. Now that we have that, we're going to click our check mark here to finish this. And we're going to go to select profile. We're going to click our profile here. And we're going to go down to parapet. And we're going to click OK, or our check mark here. And it's going to model this parapet around. I'm going to cut just, let's go back up here in the project browser to a section here. Let's just pull out one of these random sections, see if we can get that area. Yeah, there we go. Let me just click our finish model here. Just going to move this over. So you can see our parapet's a little bit wide and maybe a little bit tall here. So let's go back down to our profiles. And we kind of do this on a project by project basis based on what we want to do. But I can go in here, type properties. And just thinking about our width here, we probably want around an inch on the exterior, an inch on the interior. So we have 1.5 inches plus 1/2 inch sheathing, so 2 inches plus 5.5, so 7.5 plus 2 inches, so inch on interior and exterior. So we have 9.5 inches. So I'm going to go parapet width is, oh, it's actually not including the outside one. So it's going to be 7.5. And then we have our outer offset of 1 inch, inner offset of 1 inch. And so that gets us our 9.5 that we were talking about there. Our height above our wall, we're going to make that 1 inch. And our height above our wall on the interior, we're going to make it 0. And everything else, I think I'm going to leave the same. So let's click OK here. And that's just going to constrict our parapet in a little bit, so it's a little bit tighter. So let's go back to our 3D view and just see what we created there. So decent looking parapet. So if you want to do this on more walls, what I usually do is do all my parapets in the same model in place piece. And we'll go back up here and we'll create a new sweep. You have to do 1 sweep per parapet. So I'm just going to pick all of our exterior walls again. And again, I just model this exterior wall on the fascia because we need that wall to kind of come above that. I mean, there's a few different ways you can do a parapet, but I think that's the easiest in my perspective. So now we have this all joined up. We'll click check mark. We'll pick our profile again. And simply applies that same profile to that same wall. One thing I just wanted to note is if, for example, your parapet shows like this and it's hanging over the edge, there is a button down here called profile flipped, and it'll flip that profile to the other direction. So again, we just have one more left to do, so let's go create sweep. And let's pick our walls again. So we have this little return here, here. And this is also based on the way I modeled this profile. I modeled the profile with the exterior being the place line. And again, I can go over that in another video, but how I created that. But that's in general how you do a parapet cap. So I think if you're trying this from scratch, you could just model a straight box just to start, just to figure out how that works. And then you can constrain it with some parameters after. So let's click our check mark here. We have our last piece of our parapet, finish our model. And there we go. We have our parapet. And this building is starting to look a little bit more like the actual thing we build. So thanks for watching.